Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in and thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, maybe this is the first time that you have stumbled across my channel or the first time that you are seeing me on your screen. I speak about faith, I speak about lifestyle, healthy relationships and also personal development. So if any of those things sounds interesting to you or something that you're also passionate about on your journey, then yeah, join me on my journey and I'm sure you'll be blessed. So in today's video, guys, I really wanted to speak about something that I think is very, very important, which is eliminating rush, hurry, and worry from your life. So I feel like, especially in our generation, or maybe if you live in certain parts of the world, there's this whole culture of rush. There's this whole culture of hurry and you having to, I guess, attain certain things by a certain age or have certain things by a certain stage of life. And obviously, those who are adulting will know that that's not always the case, that sometimes you do get to certain age ranges or certain stages of your life and yeah, things haven't actually turned out the way that you thought that they would. However, today I really wanted to just share about 5 tips in terms of ways that we can just eliminate that rush from our life, to eliminate worry and eliminate just that stress, that anxiety that kind of comes with that lifestyle. So we want to kind of, I guess, delve deep into a different type of lifestyle, a better lifestyle of less stress and less worry and less anxiety, and just kind of see the ways that we can slow down and not give in to that rush of life. So I'm just going to get right into it with the first point. So the first thing that I think is very important when it comes to eliminating rush, hurry, and worry from our life is the importance of discipline. Discipline. And I think that discipline is honestly one of those things that is underrated. I think that we don't talk enough about being a disciplined person and being disciplined in terms of character, because it does shape a lot. And I think that when we lack discipline, honestly, we do find ourselves rushing a lot and hurrying through life and just trying to do things but not really quite getting it right. And when I think about discipline, I think about time management on one aspect. So like, how are we managing our time? Are we managing our time effectively and well, so that we're not constantly doing things last minute and rushing and just being all over the place? And also just time management in terms of obviously planning, in terms of getting to places on time. So I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times when I find myself hurrying and rushing and just being just stressed and all over the place, kind of comes from maybe if I'm running late to somewhere or I'm really just trying to get to somewhere and I'm behind time, then I find that maybe I'm trying to rush and trying to hurry, and yeah, I just end up starting to worry for no reason. And I think that honestly, if we are able to get time management and be more disciplined with our time, then we could actually get to a point where we have less worry and less stress and less hurry and rush in our lives. Alongside that, I think another aspect of discipline is boundaries. Yes. And I spoke about this in one of my previous videos about the importance of boundaries, but I think even when it comes to discipline, being disciplined to know when to say no is so important. And I think sometimes, like, honestly, the reason why we have so much stress sometimes the reason why we're worrying or we're hurrying or we're just rushing through life is because sometimes we actually don't know when to say no. Sometimes we're saying yes to things that we actually should be saying no to. So instead of us to kind of like have a schedule that works for us and has a schedule doing things that we know we are supposed to be doing, we are there sometimes trying to do everything, trying to be everywhere, trying to be there for everyone, spreading ourselves across and just literally just being everywhere, trying to do everything. So I think that's another important one in terms of boundaries. Just boundaries, I guess, in terms of time management as well, but just being aware of the things that we're giving our time to, being aware of the things we're giving ourselves to, because when we're trying to give ourselves to everything and spreading ourselves thin, then we honestly do end up being in that place of worry and stress and hurry and just all over the place and not having things together. So that's another important thing as well in terms of, yeah, just making sure that we're also disciplined in terms of saying no when we need to and saying yes to the right things. So the second thing that I think is also very important when it comes to this topic is planning. So it kind of links to what I was speaking about in the first point to do with time management, but just kind of going deeper in terms of just planning. Like sometimes that might even look like planning your day out. So maybe your work day, making sure that you plan your work day, or if you know that you have something in the evening after work, making sure that you plan ahead. Or if you have a deadline, you have a project that you need to give in, making sure that you plan that. Like honestly, sometimes we procrastinate, we leave it to last minute, and then we wonder why we're stressed. We wonder why we're anxious. We wonder why we're now having to rush through that thing, and then we don't give the best. We're not giving in a best piece of that work. We're not giving in something that is excellent because we just rushed it and did it last minute. So I think planning is so important. They often say that if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And I think that to certain degrees that is so true. Sometimes we leave things last minute because we've lacked planning. And even with, for example, planning the day before or planning the week before, these are things that are so, so important. But of course, we know that you can plan, and it doesn't mean that everything is always going to go according to plan. And I think that that's where wisdom comes in. So for example, knowing that, okay, I might plan this, but something else might come up, or I might plan this, but God's plan is different, you know? So even with planning as well, having that wisdom to just say that, okay, I'm going to just leave room, leave space for God, because I know that at the end of the day, his plan is better than my plan. So even though I may plan and obviously make sure that I'm not being lazy and procrastinating, I also want to ensure that I'm handing that over to God. So there's a scripture that talks about committing our work to God, and that when we do that, God will establish our plans. And that's Proverbs 16 verse 3. So that's another important point as well. So planning, but also committing your plan to God. Now the third thing, I think this is probably my favorite. And I think this is probably the one that a lot of people are probably going to be the most uncomfortable with. And that is slowing down. And I think that the reason why a lot of people will probably be uncomfortable with that is because honestly, it's actually so hard sometimes to slow down, especially with the way that there's just so much to do. Some people, they are handling so many different roles, titles. They might be a parent, a wife or a husband. They might have a senior position in their workplace, and then they also have responsibilities at church. And it just seems like they're doing so, so much. But I think that there's an importance in just taking time to slow down. And I remember last year I went to Cyprus with my friends, and I remember pretty much we walked everywhere. I don't think we took public transport. Yeah, I don't think we actually took we took maybe a coach to one place, but most of the time we were actually walking. And I think that it just reminded me of, I guess, Bible times when they probably had to walk everywhere and everything was just so much slower because there wasn't the rush of, you know, cars driving all the time and driving in a fast lane. Everything was slowed down. And I think that we need to also take that into our own lifestyle and journey as well, in terms of just finding ways to slow down. And that might look different for you. It might be walking slow sometimes. It might be taking time to just be still. Solitude and stillness. That's another one that, again, we feel so uncomfortable with sometimes because it means actually hearing our own thoughts and knowing what's going on the inside of us. And I think that a lot of the time, people actually don't slow down enough to actually figure out or actually discern what is happening on the inside. And because we don't know that, sometimes the whole lifestyle of rush, of worrying, and of rushing is actually an internal problem. And unless we slow down and just take that time to actually figure out what is going on the inside, then we just continue in that lifestyle. So yeah, slowing down and literally just taking time to have silence and solitude. If you're a Christian like myself, then certain things such as obviously slowing down, taking time to spend with God, spending time in prayer, spending time reading the Bible, spending time in worship, just spending time not doing the usual things that we do, maybe having a routine so that you're literally intentional about slowing down. So things such as even stretching your body or just exercising, these are things that can actually help us slow down. And when we do this, we will actually see that we have more peace in our life and we have less stress, worry and anxiety. So try it. Literally try it. So yeah, that's the third point. Just slowing down, having more times of stillness, rest, and just not doing all the time. Like actually taking a break from doing. And I think that leads me to my fourth point, which is to take time to rest. And kind of along with that is taking breaks. So I know a lot of the time it can be easy to literally work throughout the whole year without taking any annual leave, without taking any breaks. And honestly, sis, bro, you deserve a break. You deserve rest. And I think that sometimes we have to actually tell ourselves that and remind ourselves that we actually deserve to rest. And we were actually created, like the way we've been created is that our body needs rest and so does our soul. So that's another important thing, taking time to have a break. So that might be going on a retreat, that might be going for a vacation, a holiday, and of course, like if that's something that maybe you can't do right now, maybe because of maybe financial reasons, it might just be taking time to just sit down outside. It might literally just be staying outside in a park area and just getting some fresh air. Like these things are part of, you know, taking a break and just having a rest. And I think that those things are so important. Okay, the fifth one, which is the final one, is in relation to taking a weekly Sabbath. So it's almost similar to the previous point, but I guess it takes it a little bit deeper. So what is a Sabbath? So a Sabbath is basically, literally means rest. So in, I think it's Hebrew, Shabbat, it means rest. And it basically just means taking a day off work. And of course, we're not bound by it, but I feel like it's something that is really, really good to do. And it's a gift that God has given us. And He created us, so He knows what we need. And just taking that one day a week to literally just say, I'm not going to do any work today. I'm just going to rest. I'm going to worship. I'm just going to be at rest. Is so important. And one thing that I've learned when it comes to the Sabbath is that, of course, like as humans, we need physical rest, and that's why obviously we sleep every single day, but we also need rest for our soul. And I think that that is what the Sabbath literally does for us. It helps us to get rest internally, to get rest for our soul. So for some people that are watching, that's literally what you need. Maybe your life has just been all over the place. Maybe you've just been dealing with rush and worry and everything just seems out of control. Like maybe what you need is soul rest, and taking that one day a week to just say that I'm going to slow down, I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to do no work. I believe that it will help you. So yeah, those are the 5 points in terms of things that we can do starting from today, literally, to just help us to eliminate stress, worry and anxiety. And I've read a few books that have actually helped me in terms of learning these things that I'm sharing today. So I thought that I'll share those books with you as well. So if anyone is interested in reading those books, then you can do. But the first one is called Eliminating Rush and Hurry from Your Life. I will put it in the thing below because I can't remember the name of the author. And then also the second one is Having a Mary Heart in a Martha World. So yeah, make sure that you, if you want, check out those books, and it will just kind of, I guess, just take you a step further from the things that I've kind of spoken about today to just help you on that journey. And yeah, I really just hope that this video has helped and will also bring you to a place where you have more rest, peace and stability in your life. So thank you so much for watching. That's it for today. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out and God bless.